I am with Dave Miller, head coach of the Fairmont Firebirds. We are entering week 4 of high school varsity football. So, let's talk a little bit about the LaSalle game, first of all. Special teams were really special last week. The 54-yard field goal by Will Holt. Knowing his range, when you get the opponent to get to the opponent's 35-yard line, how does that change from potentially going for it on fourth down or punting it to put the opponent in the hole?
Well, it's nice to have. The field goal hit was 48, but we did attempt one from, I think, 52. He was just wide right. But his range is outstanding. At the very least, we're going to get a touchback, as long as we execute up front and all that. But, it's a weapon to have, and I thought he did a great job punting them. You mentioned special teams overall. Really minus one kickoff that we didn't put in the end zone. We got to do a better job covering if we don't. Will did a good job hanging that up, and really they caught it on the 3. So by rights, we should have had them, down around the 20 or inside of it. But yeah, it was a good night for us, special teams wise, and that's important against a team of their caliber because they take advantage of stuff like that. So it's just good, 3 weeks into it. The last couple of years we've knock on wood, we've had issues with our special teams where they've cost us, and so far they're really a plus for us.
Were you surprised LaSalle came out throwing 5 passes on that first drive that led to their field goal?
Not at all. No, I think that they're a pretty balanced team. We knew coming in they could throw, they could run. But we gave them great field position there at the 48-yard line, and to hold them to a field goal I think was pretty good. Outstanding effort by our defense. So. No, I think that's within what they do, and they must have seen something with us that they thought they could exploit that, but our defense stepped up and did a good job.
Drew Baker was over 100 yards, but fairly well contained. What did LaSalle do to slow him down from the first 2 weeks?
Well, we did some things. They had a little different front than what we're used to, but they have some good athletes over there, and those yards were harder to come by, and we tell our guys all the time, it's, there's going to be, we talk about the monster, you're playing the best defense in the state, the best team in the state every week. And I think defensively they were as good as they come. They made us work for every yard. Drew still did a good job. The offensive line did a good job up front. Our perimeter blocking was not as good as we would like, so we have things to work on there, but we'll be okay. I think that that last drive we took about 7 minutes off the clock, and that was really big in terms of things, giving them only 38 seconds to deal with at the end of the game. So and missed a 44-yarder there, field goal. So it was. We have things to work on offense. We definitely weren't satisfied with what we did, but they made us work. So a lot of things we can improve on and learn from that.
So we haven't focused on the offensive line so far this year. So what are some of the key personnel leading the game success?
You start with Caden Partnick, who's a 3-year starter. Enoch Cruz has been in there for 3 years. Add in a Cooper Davis, who's a 2-year starter. Colton Green, who's new, and Aiden Bunce. Those guys in particular. Nate Meyer coming over from transfer from Oakwood last year. He played tight end. Noah Wilkins, obviously the other tight end. Those guys have done an outstanding job really all year. And right now we rely heavily on them, obviously, but they've done an outstanding job, and they're not. What's great about them is they're never satisfied with what they've done. They're kind of their own worst critics, and that's good, because they always have those high expectations. So it's good to have that kind of veteran leadership up there. I mean, most of those guys are seniors, so that's huge.
Let's go to the end of the game. 3 pass plays gained 60 yards for LaSalle until the defense held at the end. What was the strategy to play to prevent the? What was the strategy to play, prevent, and bend or not break?
Well, we're always talk about making them earn it, and really you said 60 yards. I think a big chunk of that was on one play. We had them down on the 20. And they converted on that first pass play, and really we could keep them down on our end of the field. That works a lot better for us, so it made it a lot more stressful at the end there. But we preach constantly about making teams earn what they get, and our guys did a great job. Like I said, other than that big play down the sideline, I don't think they have many all night, so it was a great defensive effort. We've had 3 good ones, so none better than what happened Friday night.
All right, now we're going to move on to Northmont. Other than their total destruction of their non-conference opponents, what stands out about Northmont to you?
Now, as always, they're well coached and their speed. They're just very athletic. They always have been. They're really hard to contain. We talk a lot, again, just kind of going back to what we said about making them earn it. We're going to need to do that. If you look back at our game last year, they had 3 big plays that led to their 3 scores. 2 of them were touchdowns. So we're going to be stressing that all week, and they can break them, at any time. They had really Hilliard-Davidson did not play a bad game against them when you look at the overall, box scores and everything like that. But they got an 80-yard touchdown reception. It was a short pass and went for basically 70. They had another pass of like 50, another run of about 35, 40. They're just really explosive. Not only that, but this year they're really good on defense. I mean, you look at them up front, and it's going to be a major challenge for us. So, but our guys are excited. I mean, like last week, I think they were very excited for the challenge with LaSalle, and this is GWalk play now, and I think they're excited to get up to Clayton and go.
Seems you have to guard against their big play ability to score either running or passing, as they tend to strike quickly, as you just said.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's all about time of possession. And we've, last 4 or 5 years with them, they've been really close games. Last year was decided by a field goal, really. A couple of years before, we seemed to be going up to their place a lot, but that was the way that the conference realigned and everything. But we've had very close games with them up there, and we just have to minimize, the damage that they can do on our defense and control the clock and convert. That was the thing. 2 years ago, went up there and we played them pretty tough in that first half, but we came away with no points, and I think that was really big. They ended up scoring at the end of the half, making it 7-0. They came out, got the ball, and then made it 14-0, which for us that becomes kind of a problem. So we want to, like I said, just minimize. You're not going to stop them. You have to slow them down on offense when they're on offense, and we're going to have to take advantage and work really hard on our offense, against their defense. So,
specifically, can you talk about their quarterback, Mr. Kortner?
Mm-hmm. He's good. He started last year as a sophomore. I think took his lumps. I know I've seen him in track. I think his cousin or he has another Kortner that he's related to, I'm sure, but they both run track. They're very fast. So he's a good athlete. He's gotten better at his throwing this year. You can definitely see it in his first 2 games for sure. He's a lot more accurate, and he's scary, once he gets outside the pocket, or he can make things happen with his feet. So, that's going to be a challenge.
Okay, and final question. How do you contain 3 dangerous wideouts in Lamb, Wilkins, and Brownlee?
If you have an answer, let me know. I mean, it's like, it's bad enough when you have 1. They have 3. They have a stable of them. They always do. And again, we just have to play good, sound. We're not real complicated. Good, sound defense, and make them earn every yard. That's our motto. And if we can do that and not give up big plays, we've got a shot. But if we start letting them get out there in space and do what they do and convert, we're in trouble. So that's the game plan.
All right, Coach. Well, thank you for taking the time to speak with me today, and good luck on Friday.
Thanks, Norm.
I'm with Coach Tony Broering, who is the head coach of the Northmont Thunderbolts.
Yes, sir.
That's the varsity football team, not the soccer team.
Right.
So, your team has outscored its opponents 136-13 in 3 games. Despite the domination, what areas are you seeking improvement in from the GWalk opener?
Well, I think the GWalk's a whole different animal than the 3 games we've already played. It's not even comparable, really. The GWalk is such a tough league, week in and week out. I tell all my friends who ask me about it, it's like playing in the SEC West. I mean, every week you're going up against a championship caliber team. So we have a lot of areas to work on this week to get better. We made a ton of mistakes last Friday, even though the score didn't really indicate that. It was 3 weeks in a row where we got the running clock, and we shut them out 2 weeks in a row, but we made some mistakes that we need to get shored up.
As for the defense, allowing only 14 first downs all season, who have been some of the leaders, starting with Peyton Lumpton and his 4 sacks?
Well, Peyton is a special young man. I mean, we call him TJ Watt. He wears number 90. He can really get after the quarterback. But what's made this defense special is the entire group played as one. We have a special player at each level of the defense. So Peyton's up front, and at linebacker we have Brian Jones, who's like a coach on the field, and then in the secondary we have Nigel Glover, who's a Division I scholarship safety. So we've got really good players on defense. A lot of them played for me last year, and we kind of, learned through trial by fire. And so this year it's really kind of reaped the rewards of last season.
On offense, can you evaluate how Mr. Kortner has done his quarterback position with 6 TDs and only 2 interceptions?
Yeah, Deuce is a special player as well. I mean, we tease him all the time that he's our Lamar Jackson. He can run, he can throw. Now, he's surrounded by weapons. I mean, he's blessed in the fact that every guy that he throws the ball to is legitimately a Division I receiver. So we have Dalen Wilkins, Dorian Brew, Jordan Kortner, DJ Lamb, Javian Brownlee, just a plethora of outstanding talent. So he's blessed with that, but he's done a great job leading the team. He can run, he can throw. He's really, again, he started last year as a sophomore, and we kind of took our lumps together, him and I, and now this year we're kind of reaping the benefits of him playing last year.
The top wide receivers, Lamb and Brownlee,
Right.
How are they different from one another?
Well, DJ's a little slot who's real quick. They all run track for me. I mentioned a couple of the other guys, Dalen and Dorian, Jordan, they all run track too. So we're together all year round. So we're together all fall in football, and then we're together all spring for track. And they're all just dynamic, explosive, talented young men. What's happened is teams have rolled the coverage over top of some of the guys, so other guys can really get loose. That's the benefit of having so many good receivers. If you try to take out one, there's 3 more that can hurt you.
Your team has had several long TD plays this year. What do you attribute that to?
Well, basically their speed, like I mentioned about being the track coach. They're just so fast. So the other night, Dalen caught a slant, which normally would just be a 6 or 7 yard gain, and he took it 60 or 70 yards for a touchdown. So they can score on any play. They're that fast. And so they get the ball in space, and they're a problem. They're an issue to deal with, that's for sure.
As for Fairmont, they rallied for a 3-point win last year. How do you keep the defense fresh in a close game to contain Drew Baker?
Well, that's a problem. I mean, Drew he's really good. I would say he's one of the best backs, not just this year, but this is my 32nd year coaching. I've been in this league the entire time since 1991. I've seen a lot of great running backs, and Drew's right up there with all of them. It feels like he's been there forever. He's a very, very talented young man. And Fairmont wants to keep our offense off the field by keeping their offense on, so we have to force them to punt and get them off the field. And it's difficult. I mean, they present a unique challenge in our league, their style of play and how they run the ball. So it's a big challenge for us this week just to be able to stop that run.
Okay, and final question. Last week, LaSalle had some success in the air against Fairmont. Do you look to be aggressive from the start on the offense?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Our style on offense is always attack, down the field as much as possible. We want to stretch the field vertical and horizontally on offense, and we have those weapons that I mentioned to really do that and put them on their heels.
Okay, great. Well, Coach, thank you very much for taking the time to speak with me today, and good luck on Friday.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day.